This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
A Rapid City police officer was justified in a deadly shooting from last November, according to the Division of Criminal Investigation and the Attorney General. The incident happened around 5:30 a.m. November 18th at a Rapid City apartment complex on Philadelphia Street. According to the DCI report, when the first officer arrived on scene, James Murphy charged them with a knife and attempted to stab the officer.
This still image from the officer's body camera shows that encounter. The officer shot at Murphy a second time after he grabbed the officer's pistol hand. The Attorney General's office says after reviewing videos, witness interviews, and other evidence, the officer was justified in the deadly shooting.
Meanwhile, the investigation continues into an officer-involved shooting in Sioux Falls. It happened back in December at the Come and Go gas station along Minnesota Avenue.
In that case, authorities say an officer approached a car and it reportedly drove toward him. The officer fired several shots, including injuring the 22-year-old driver and a passenger. A study from the Better Business Bureau says North American consumers lost hundreds of millions of dollars to online shopping scams last year. KELOLAND Living host Brittany Kay is using her story to help others avoid scams.
She recently had an encounter with someone online who wanted to buy one of her dresses that was listed for $130 on Poshmark. The person wanted to communicate through email and text instead of through the app. They also wanted to pay with a check instead of online.
If you're someone like me who always expects the good out of people and gives them the benefit of the doubt, then you are a little bit more vulnerable.
Kay ended up getting a check for $1,200, but she never cashed it, nor did she send the dress.
Now let's get a check of our forecast with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Good morning, Brian.
All right, good morning. As we look at weather today, a little fog out there. Another morning of that. Dense fog advisories in effect from just about Rapid City all the way to Sioux Falls. So take care on the roads and, of course, be alert to slick spots as we've been through these routines quite a bit now lately. And it looks like today we're going to warm up quite a bit better in western KELOLAND. A late afternoon temperature 56 degrees in Rapid City, 51 in Custer, but down to about 20 for high in Sioux Falls and 17 in Worthington. That's a quick look at weather. We'll get into the rest of our forecast in just a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Brian. The population of Sioux Falls has reached just shy of 209,000 people. The news comes along with a record-breaking year in permits for buildings.
Sioux Falls saw nearly $2 billion in building projects this year. 18 of them were more than $20 million. They include projects like Sharapa 2, 3, and 4, the airport parking ramp, and the Midco Ice Arena at Augustana University.
That $1.93 million was very diversified across commercial, across residential, remodel, multifamily. We issued more than 11,000 building permits this year. That's up quite a bit.
Mayor Paul Tenhaken says the record in building permits is good news. However, he doesn't believe this record pace is sustainable in 2023. Agriculture plays a big role in the city of Sioux Falls, and one family is being recognized for their work.
The Jordan and Samantha Scott family was named the 2023 Farm Family of the Year by the Greater Sioux Falls Chamber of Commerce. The award honors their hard work and dedication in the agricultural industry in Sioux Falls and the state as a whole.
Sioux Falls is one of those cities, like many others across the country, that was founded on agriculture. Just down the road here is the old stockyards as well as John Morale. And so bringing that back, to the consumers here in Sioux Falls and the business people connects those and what Sioux Falls is built on, what they're going to continue to build on, and how those two can merge together for a greater future.
The Chamber of Commerce selects a family every year for the award and will start taking nominations for next year's recipient in September. Huset Speedway in Brandon is using the winter months to make repairs and upgrades to its suites. Instead of simply replacing the roof that was torn off by last spring's derecho, Huset's opted to add a fourth level, including an announcer's booth and rooftop decks.
The plan is to have construction done before hosting the Snowcross National in early March.
Some of the riders are from, Europe and all over the world. So it's a big national event, with live coverage, and I think it'll be big for the community just because it'll bring, a lot of people into town for that weekend. It's a 2-day event, and people stay overnight and, hopefully, spend some money in the Sioux Falls market.
We've provided a link with Huset's 2023 schedule, including the 4-day High Bank Nationals in June. Under this story right here on KELOLAND.com. Last week's snowstorm caused travel troubles for just about everyone. While some chose to stay home, for others, that wasn't an option. Dialysis patients with the Vera needed to get to their appointments.
That's when the city got a call and plow drivers cleared the streets where patients lived so a Sioux area Metro bus could get them in and take them to their appointments.
Most of our patients dialyze 3 times a week. This helps clear the waste products out of their body. And if you don't do that, eventually you'll get sick enough where you could pass away. And we don't want that to happen to any of our patients. So it is always a worry when the snow flies.
Cook says she is also appreciative of the work firefighters did to help clear sidewalks for those using a wheelchair.
And that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, our weather today, well, hopefully no more major snowstorms for a while, but we'll have a couple things in this extended forecast we need to discuss. First today, some fog issues this morning. I do expect improvement on that story, and especially in the far west, Rapid City. Mid-50s later today. Sioux Falls, not anywhere close to that. If we can get to 20, that's an optimal forecast with this southerly wind just beginning to kick in a bit. I can't rule out some fog issues again tonight, primarily in the east, but the wind picks up tomorrow. It'll be at least 15 to 30 in Sioux Falls, and I would imagine Rapid City too. A little wind, although the end result here is still more 50-degree weather. Could we hit 60? Maybe. Rapid City awfully close. Now, also remember during the day on Saturday, this wind issue in southwest Minnesota, attendant to the Buffalo Ridge, probably becomes a problem at some point. I would favor Saturday night might be the strongest period of weather in terms of wind. So expect some updates on that. Sunday, we're still in pretty good shape. Mild weather. No changes on that. Let's look at our winds since we just brought that up. There's this evening, you can see some 10 to 20 mile an hour winds, pretty common around Aberdeen and Huron. See how that red and orange area shades there from about Summit all the way down to about Ruthven, Minnesota, and that's tomorrow. It really, again, gets a little thicker on that wind there Saturday night. So, yes, prone to blowing and drifting snow. Otherwise, a large section of KELOLAND, really not too bad on the wind Sunday morning. We'll see if any fog develops as a result of that. Sometimes that's kind of the trade-off when we deal with these intervals of melting snow, milder temperatures, dew points, everything kind of works together here as we saturate the air. I do expect a little more wind on Monday. Now that is tied to what's going on with the weather pattern. Let's jump into the rest of the maps here, and you can see that showing up as the parade of storms in California. Well, so far, a lot of these have been non-weather makers for us, but that could change a little bit next week. The first one that comes out Monday, I still think that this one's removed from any cold air. A lot of this is going to be rain next week. And in particular in Iowa, I would say there are going to be some pockets of even some thunder and lightning. My main question is, on the back side of the low, can we wrap around some moisture? And then what component of that is rain versus a little freezing rain or snow? It looks a little stronger today, just a little bit of a shift. We'll keep an eye on that pattern. Again, that could put down some nuisance amounts, but if it ends up being a little freezing rain, it never takes much of that, does it, to cause a couple of problems. Now, setting that aside, that bigger low comes out of the Rockies midweek. Most of this should stay south. That seems to be the growing consensus. And we've been hedging our bets that direction. We've just been kind of putting out that question if that storm track will change. Hopefully this becomes even more locked in during the weekend, but we'll still watch it. It's obviously not far off, is it? Omaha, Des Moines could have quite a hefty amount of snow, but it's a little early to call any more specifics than that. Finally, another little wave drops in at the end of the week. The biggest change on that would be a developing windier pattern the following week. So that's a long ways out, but I guess at this point we're probably not too surprised at that since we've had a lot of days without wind. Certainly Sioux Falls has been in that category, but this weekend that changes a little bit. Bottom line too is temperatures will warm up to the point we'll melt snow. I'm more optimistic our overnight lows will come back up and we'll probably put a little crust on this snow. So that's good. We could use that. That 50% chance of rain and snow, if we end up getting rain on Monday in Sioux Falls, all that's going to do is help the crusting of that because we got a depth of snow. It'll absorb a lot of that. Bottom line in Aberdeen, there could be a little snow in the air on Monday. We'll keep an eye on that storm track. And also I wanted to include a little bit in Pierre. 30s for highs early next week. Certainly not terribly cold for mid-January. Rapid City, after 50s, you can't complain too much. We'll cool off a little bit next week. And as of right now, a dry forecast. Check out more details with the weather online at kettleland.com.